Okay, we're good.
We'll go and shut that door. What am I looking at? First one.
Don't tackle that one. We really should put two different brands of TVs in here, we would solve all the problem. One remote control for TVs.
There you go. We're ready to call this meeting of the North Miami School Board to order. Pledge of allegiance.
We will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, emergency revisions.
No, we have no revisions this evening. We'll call the meeting, just start time at 6:40 with Mrs. Eckroat, Mr. Deardorff, Mr. Finnegan, and Mr. Hudson present.
So no emergency
Nope.
revisions. Approval of minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Deardorff, second by Mr. Finnegan. All those approved?
You just need one for each of the items. There's 4 of them, so you can go through them each. So you've got the executive.
Oh, exec,
Yeah, just
yeah.
do one for each one.
Okay, so that was for April 21st exec, sorry, approval of minutes for April 21st regular session.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Finnegan,
And
second by Mr.
Stan.
Deardorff. There you go. Or
Oh,
Stan.
Stan, yeah, I was just gonna take Stan.
Right.
All
Don't
approved? 4-0. Minutes for April 28th exec session.
So moved.
Sam, you want a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Hudson, second by Mr. Finnegan, all approved. Motion passes 4-0. Then we have the minutes for the public session, no, wait a minute, we're
May 4th, executive.
May 4th executive, sorry, we get flipped over.
So moved. Second.
Motion is Mr. Deardorff, second by Mr. Finnegan, all those approved. Motion passes 4-0. We're ready for approval of claims.
Yeah, so he's got claims, pull up any questions in regards to claims?
No?
Take a motion.
Be a motion. So moved.
Okay. Motion was made by Mr. Deardorff, second by Mr. Hudson. All those approved? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, we've got programs.
Yeah, no
No programs
program this evening,
tonight? Okay. Public comments.
I have comments. So good things that teachers have done or that have happened in May. The elementary is having underground spirit days. I'm not sure Danielle's figured it out yet because we haven't been very obvious about it.
I have,
Good, okay, I'm glad. I'm relieved to hear it.
especially today.
Yeah, and I am celebrating it today if you look at my feet. So I did do it on purpose. And second grade is doing a balloon pop countdown to the end of the school year with surprise fun activity each day. So they've had a stinky feet day, which is good for everybody. Today they got an extra recess, so just fun. K-3 fun day is tomorrow. The kids enjoyed listening to the high school band concert this past week. Fourth grade is doing a reading incentive. So they read 500 minutes by May 27th and they get to participate in a race. They get to make their own cars, like box cars. And third grade has studied Japan. They made candy sushi, tried various foods, and made windsocks. There was a fine arts night this week. Carrie Wands did her advanced nutrition class. They made cupcakes. They created cupcakes. They voted on theme of seasons. They had created backdrops. They decorated 24 cupcakes to sell. The students received the money. They were very excited to do it. They are saving for car parts and gas. They did an amazing job. All the cupcakes were sold by 10:45 a.m. on Friday. The preschool they're having a blast. They're doing a super cute signing out poster that's hanging in the hallway. They've been practicing their graduation songs. And let's see, the advanced child development class has been sending over high school students to the elementary 3 days a week for the past 6 weeks, working in various classrooms at the elementary and getting some firsthand experience with the kids. And music awards are tonight, and all the kids have earned an award. Now, I did get permission to share this name. Any name I've shared, they said their names. I'm gonna say Mr. Wilson has offered free math tutoring. He did tell me I could say it, but I'm not supposed to say anything that would be embarrassing to him. So, but he had 5 students this semester. He did not tutor for a bit because he had broken his collarbone. That would be a fun story we could talk about, not on camera. And so of those 5 kids, on April 15th would be the first time that he had a student that came to get tutoring for his class that he's teaching. So for the whole school year, that was the first time he had somebody from his class. And that turned into 2 other teachers coming for some other kids to help tutor them. So his tutoring turned into 2 other teachers helping with some other kids, and I thought that was kind of nice. McBride took students to the symphony on Saturday, which you should know is like a 10-hour ordeal. So like she left
They got back late.
around 2:30 and they were supposed to get back around midnight. So, and then another teacher stepped in to help with the academic team because their coach was in the hospital, and they did an amazing job. I'm sure Carice is gonna talk about that, but it's just nice that somebody stepped in, and that's all. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Carrie. Strategic plan?
Yeah, this month our rotation is our community. We got some data to share with you here. We can pull up. We'll start. Who we got first coming? You got middle school? I missed which one you clicked on.
Sorry, I have them both open.
Okay, we'll do the middle high school first.
Okay. Apologies for how I sound. This is as good as it's gonna get. For this month's board meeting, discussing partnerships in our community. Our high school is actually partnered with Region 4, work-based, the workforce division of creating a career coaching partnership between this company called SkyPack and North Miami. So through Region 4 Workforce Board, they were awarded a grant by the state of Indiana to develop career education and navigation. This award affirms the strength of our regional partnership and positions our region as a statewide model for readiness, employer engagement, and student pathways. So with the new diploma that's come out, it's allowing opportunities for our kids to get work-based learning experience when maybe in our area it is not plentiful. It'll provide them virtual opportunities as well to gain that experience. Sorry. So why should we partner? So like I said, the new diploma requirements and with graduation pathways, it increases expectations for career coaching and navigation, work-based learning access, employer engagement, and then compliance-ready documentation and reporting that is necessary for these diplomas. Our piece of the participation within this, it meets the Indiana Career Coaching and Navigation requirements. That was previously put on our guidance counselors, but while creating this partnership, it allows us to use this company to aid in making that so. Supports diploma redesign and seal adoption, expands access to IDOE aligned work-based learning opportunities, strengthens regional employer and post-secondary partnerships, centralized reporting, and reduce duplicative processes for tracking that data, graduation pathways and diploma seal support, and then compliance-ready reporting for the IDOE expectations that have been set. SkyPack, who we're partnering with, their participation, they are going to deliver regional career coaching and workforce strategy. So they will supply career coaches to meet with our students virtually and in person. It aligns our schools, employers, and workforce systems under shared governance. It takes opportunities that our students already have. Let's say we have a kid that has a job, or maybe they are volunteering at the pantry. they can create training plans that aligns with what they're already doing to fulfill that work-based learning experience. If you look at a lot of our kids, they are involved in a lot of stuff. Multi-sport athletes, they're in different types of programming. So looking at those work-based learning experiences are difficult to come by when they are so involved. And this allows them to use things that they're already doing to be compliant. They will use proven solutions across the different counties to reduce the duplication and the cost of this type of programming. They will strengthen the regional talent pipeline in high demand sectors. So SkyPack is already partnered with real businesses. Some of them are out of that Lafayette area, but they have joined in with this program and will be able to provide opportunities for our kids to have mock interviews with them, to ask them questions on workplace readiness and have those experiences. They're able to access real-time dashboards for outcomes, accountability and reporting, and support a sustainable model that continues beyond the period of the grant. This is some data. I know the graph is a little hard to see, but students grades 8 through 10 completed the Go for Growth plans that are built within SkyPack. It's basically a survey of their interests, their strengths, and matches them with potential career opportunities that they can then build from throughout their high school career. So they answer these questions. This is real-time data from the questions that were answered through the Go for Growth plan. And so you can see the interest in medical assisting, pre-nursing, digital design, engineering, welding technology, entrepreneurship, interior design, fashion and textiles, and marketing and sales, and criminal justice. So this data was created within this program based on the interests that our students have shared in that survey. Is there another slide after that? Okay. And so with this data, it is ever changing. So our students can go into their Go for Growth plans, and as they go through high school, they can answer those questions that will then manipulate this data to provide them opportunities and different experiences. So what our students have access to in this program, they can see potential career possibilities based on the questions that they answered. And as they move into the next couple of years, the career coaches can provide opportunities for mock interviews or real interviews once they get to like their senior year based on their interest that they've pulled from this program. There are built-in virtual work-based learning experiences within this program. There are a couple different options that our students can choose from. With each experience, they can gain up to 30 hours. So if they do 3 experiences, that's 90 hours. And if they are, depending on which seal they're going for, if it's the enrollment seal, the employment seal, if they are going for the enrollment seal, they want to go for the enrollment seal plus. That will require them to get at least 75 hours of work-based learning. But those are our kids who are higher academic. They plan on going to college. They're going to get the ICC, the Indiana College Core. That allows them to get their first year of college done while they're in high school. A lot of those students are heavily involved in activities. So if we have these virtual opportunities available for them to get that workplace learning experience, they can do that during the school day and not have to find that borrowed 75 hours of time to dedicate to getting that done. I think it just increases the opportunities and the possibilities. And it is a grant that was awarded, so this is free to us to have.
Yeah, we bombarded Carice and Caitlin with, when the state put this out, it was a competitive grant, but it required a collaboration not only amongst the schools, but with the service center or another nonprofit workforce agency. So this one's tied to Region 4, but it's through Wabash Valley Educational Service Center, which is our one we actually belong to in our region out of Lafayette. But we also put our name in the mix with Region 8 and with IUK. And so there are some other support opportunities that'll complement, potentially, this program was a complete package with being able to
Yes.
partner. So the others will be in the mix, receiving services even in the elementary building with some of the IUK agenda. So, good things coming our way. So thank you, Chris. Any questions for her at all? Feel bad making you talk, Chris.
It was hard. Trying to project, it's not working.
Danielle?
I just have a couple updates on numbers. Most of our partnerships, programs have been, they're kind of coming to the end. We do have our 4th, 5th, and 6th, they're doing the visual thinking skills field trips. So like 5th grade went to Charlie Creek Garden today, but then they spent the second half of the day going to Heartland Career Center and checking out Heartland as well. So 6th grade, 4th grade went yesterday, 6th grade goes tomorrow. So we're finishing up some of those programs. A couple, just numbers. Mexico Lions Club does the free glasses. So we did have one student since the last time I did this who did benefit from that. And our 4-county skills trainer that we have is now up to 11 students that she's working with in the school. But I think probably the biggest project that we have finally been able to start doing, if you have noticed on the side of Warrior Arena, our FFA has now started doing our raised bed garden project. If you remember, I got the grant for that last year as part of that Health First, but then it got delayed. Well, by the time it was delayed, it was winter. So we are finally getting to the point where we're able to do that. So I'm excited about that, and Mr. Wildermuth and I have been taking pictures along the way. So I'm looking forward to next fall when we'll actually be able to do a presentation to the board to show kind of the project, but then also our students benefiting from it at the elementary as well. So I think that's been the one that we've been waiting on the longest that we can finally get started on.
Anything else, Danielle?
No, the rest
Any other
of,
slides?
no, the rest of them are all things that have been going on through the year that I've already shared.
All right, thank you.
Staff reports.
I will get this started as a corporation report. We are wrapping up the 25-26 school year. We are hitting May, and I've heard from some neighboring districts that may get out a little earlier than the 29th that we were, feeling a lot better about ourselves in August when we bumped our schedule back a little week. But the 29th will be our last official day for students. Just the calendar with it shifting. I don't think we've gone past Memorial Day for a while, I feel like. So, but it shifts up earlier in May this year. So we will bring our staff back for end of the year, a work day on the first. And so that, as the board, you're invited to as well. We're going to be doing a luncheon at the middle high school that day as they wrap up the school year. But no, could not be more proud of where we've been. It's been a busy. I feel like every year we get back from spring break and it is a sprint to the finish line, and we haven't slowed them down at all this year. So getting things in order for next school year and wrapping up this school year. And I don't want to steal too much of the thunder from. I know it's been busy, very busy in the buildings, but I cannot commend. It's been awesome to see not only the local, state, but the national recognition that our FFA program has received. I think for the first time ever, finishing first and second in the national soils out in Oklahoma. It was, I think about 160 some teams I think there were out there, and so I've seen we've made publications that I didn't even know existed that were out there. We've made front page. So and if you look at who we brought, it was a young team. Like we had a lot of freshmen in that group, and so it's a very commendable to our ag program with Mr. Wildermuth and with Mr. Jones and it's just a lineage. I don't know how many Mr. Jones have been on, like they said, 30.
I don't know.
It's a lot. So I don't know if he was planning on it, but I think he made it to this one, so that was good to see. But can't can't speak highly enough of what that has accomplished, and just want to remind everybody, we had a team last year qualify in Derry to head to Europe. That's going to still be coming this summer, so great accomplishments there. And I want to commend Greece. They did a nice job today putting on a top 10 luncheon, so and I'll hand it over to you, let you make some comments.
I feel like everything happens at once at the end of the year. Since we've gotten back from spring break, I feel like we've just been go, 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 go. We had our senior awards and scholarship recognition last Friday. We had top 10 luncheon today. This Friday we'll have our high school awards. We'll have our middle school awards next week and finals. We've been busy with AP testing. We finished iLearn, within this past month as well with our middle school and our biology. I really wish I could share our biology scores, but I can't yet. But I'm excited to when I can the next time that we talk about data. And we won't have those iLearn scores until the end of July, early August. So we'll talk about that then. But we're just really winding down, trying to keep the kids focused. We've got a lot of great things that have happened. I had the privilege of driving our English academic team to Purdue this past, 2 weekends ago. Jonathan Thomas was the teacher that filled in, and our English academic team were state champs in their class. First time ever having been qualifying for state, but to win the entire thing. And there were 4 different classes that they were in, and it's all based on school size, but our team earned a perfect score. And they were the only team to earn a perfect score. And they were going against large schools like Crown Point. And that's a huge feat. And we had a 3-woman English team, I should say, of Anna Gallion, Sydney Lane, and Ava Myers. And they did a wonderful job. So that was a great experience. All of the success that we've had with FFA, as mentioned before, with our soils team going to nationals, winning and then winning reserve, to my knowledge, first time that's ever happened. Getting those first 2 spots which was amazing. Our poultry teams performed very well as well, earning first in all of their different categories. I know as we're winding down with athletics and sports, I know we're getting into sectional time with golf and with softball, and then baseball will follow, I think, after we finish.
Girls track sectional is this
Track
evening.
sectional is what tonight at Bremen. So looking forward to hearing a lot of the successes that we're going to see. I think we're going to have some good outcomes. I'm very hopeful for that, but try to keep the kids focused and just making it to the finish line. All teachers and kids in one piece is a challenge. But I don't know, I'm really excited to wrap up year 2 as principal for the middle high school. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like going into summer, and I'm looking forward to already planning things for next year. So it's been an ever evolving process of how can we improve things, put things into motion, just a lot of planning. So I'm excited to do a lot of that too.
Thanks, Reese. Dan?
So we had Teacher Appreciation Week at the beginning of May, and we had a radio theme. I want to thank PTO for sponsoring a lot of that for us, but I did want to point out, in case any of you after the board meeting are interested, one of our contests was a mystery singer. So Mrs. Cabbage does a mean share that I have on video. So if anybody would like to see that,
Yeah,
so
I
shout.
can't replicate that tonight.
It was really
I
good.
sound like your Grease.
It was really, I was very impressed.
I've got a big screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can totally just
Cue it up.
mirror that easily. Like Cree said, we finished up the iLearn assessment. We finished our iRead, kind of like the bio. I am really excited when I can share some of that information. Our M-Class, IXL, all of those things.
So our remediation is working?
I I'm very hopeful.
Yes, we're waiting on the island
Yeah,
still.
we're waiting on
Unfortunately, we won't get that till later in the summer, but that is our hope, yes.
Mhm.
And we have plans to expand that, next year as well. So, a thank you to Steph Koppler for Police Day again this year. It was a great event. And as always, our students did a wonderful job, and we received a lot of compliments because it's all of the schools in Miami County going. And they couldn't have said nicer things about our kids when they were there. Some of the events we have coming up, we do have Carrie mentioned our kindergarten through third grade fun days on the 20th, the 21st. Mrs. McBride is gonna have the fifth graders looking at different instruments. And then that night, they will also have, or on the 27th, sorry, they'll have a parent meeting as well. So we're getting that band interest going for Mrs. McBride. The 22nd is fourth through sixth grade field day. We have our pack party next week. Kindergarten and sixth grade graduation on the last day of school with our senior walkthrough at 10:15. So if you want to come and see that, that would be awesome. And then June 2nd through 12th is our iRead summer remediation that we have. So I've been working with Chad to get that organized. Mrs. Hoover has all of her things in order as well. So we will do our final iRead testing on June 12th, that Friday.
You good?
Yep.
Thank you, Danielle. I have a couple of real quick things to add before we go over the financial report. I want to thank the elementary. It's hard to believe it seems longer than that ago, but I think the day after our last board meeting, we held the Cole Porter Scholarship. So that's a 3-year rotation. It was our turn to host. We had 6 applicants, and did an excellent job. I just want to thank Danielle, Maria Campbell. We kind of had to vacate her area, but we used the whole arena wing. Preschool was pleasantly quiet the whole morning, but we got a lot of compliments on our facilities. It's nice to bring in the other schools and community members and to be able to host that event. And they did increase that scholarship, just for future references. First place now receives $15,000 over the years it requires them to graduate. A lot of graduates are coming out with almost their first year complete, and so Polly Dobbs has been more than generous. If that's the case, they split up $15,000 over 3 years as opposed to 4. So, and second place is $10,000, and then we do an alternate. And I think every year, if they change their major outside of fine arts, it goes to the alternates. And we've had alternates that have been awarded money, I know, in this rotation even currently. So, a generous any scholarship we do here locally. I also want to thank Danielle for setting up and attending the YMCA Kids Fair on the 25th. That was a very well attended event. We get to share what we do well here in North Miami, and she takes a Saturday out of her weekend to make sure that we get a camping theme.
Yep.
This year. So share what North Miami does there. June 7th is Sunday. Just formally board. 2 p.m. will be graduation of a baccalaureate or prior, right?
Yep.
Prior to that.
What time?
Baccalaureate will be at 12:15. Graduation starts at 2.
12:15?
Mm-hmm.
In the gym, right?
Yep, in the main gym.
Who are they getting to do the baccalaureate?
Steve Rashkis,
Okay.
Steph's grandpa.
And then last night, I want to thank Christina. First time I've had to have someone pinch hit, but Christina represented us, and I think Darren as well, with the Heartland Career Center Senior Certificate Ceremony over at Honeywell. So they do a fantastic job of recognizing their seniors. They bring kids and their families from all 5 districts plus into the Honeywell's full. The auditorium is full, and they get everybody across the stage. So we have a very good representative over there, or representation of our students. So I want to make sure those certificates continue to increase each year. So thank you for that. So, all right, we've got the financial report.
So on the monitors is our financial report for our largest funds as of the end of April. In April, our enrollment decreased from fall to spring. That funding loss starts happening, so that just over $41,000 is applied evenly and reduced from our April, May, and June payments. So that is reflected in our, state sources revenue in that education fund. We, at the bottom down there of that education fund, we're definitely ahead of where we were last year as far as our loss, revenue versus expenditures in that fund. Still have some work to do there, but we're definitely did narrow that gap a little bit. Our operations fund and our debt service fund are waiting on property tax. Those two funds, that is their source of revenue. The operations fund has a little bit other miscellaneous stuff, but those are their large sources. In May so far, in April, we did get, I think that little bit there is financial institution. In May, we've already got excise, or, commercial vehicle settlement. So, in June, we'll get excise and property tax, and they will look very different by the end of June, with that revenue in there. And our debt service payments then will also happen towards the end of June, so those will kind of balance each other out, and we'll grow some cash in that fund with those. Our lunch fund's just trekking along in there. We're still keeping a real close eye on that one. If we just look at our fund balances, down there at the bottom, we're still not quite where we were last year, so even though we raised prices a little bit, we're still running a little behind, so we're just keeping a real close eye on that. I know Stephanie's planning on she had a position get open this year that she hasn't filled, and I think she's gonna continue with that next year. They've been doing okay without that position, and, so she's looking at all of her parts that way too, to see how she can get that balanced a little more. And we haven't had any activity in either one of these bond funds yet.
Business?
And we do not have any old business.
Personnel?
Yeah, under item A, we have the following, terminations, resignations: Josh Valentin in maintenance, John Stoner as a volunteer girls soccer coach, Shannon McGuire Carr in varsity cheerleading, Carrie Wan as a junior class sponsor, Alan Sager as middle school math, cross country, and varsity boys assistant track coach, and Kenneth Hansen and myself as the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Freeman seconded, all those, motion passes 4-0. Leave of absence, we just skip it.
Yep, not anything in there.
And hire recommendations?
Yeah.
Certified?
Yeah, we have the following, Bailey Rowell transitioning from the administrative position of elementary assistant principal to an elementary teacher, and Leanne Eckel Barker, who's been student teaching as a elementary teacher as well.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Hudson seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Hire recommendation, non-cert?
Yeah, item D here, we have the following non-cert. Amber Shipper, replacing our retiring nurse Florence at the elementary for elementary school nurse. And then the following summer workers, Samantha Jones, Cheyenne Cox, Shannon Carr, Jordan Eaton, and Keaton Fuller.
Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Deardorff seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Hire, we don't have any hiring
Nope,
recommendations.
not anything for after.
Summer school?
Yeah, the summer school's expanding some this year. Recommend approval for the 26 staff, middle high school. This is for credit recovery. Carrie Wan's been in this position for a while. I don't know how many summers, it's been a while. But she's agreed to do this again. IREAD remediation, June 2nd through the 12th. Same thing, Megan has done an excellent job with that. Autumn Spradlin as the para. If necessary for transportation, we have it on here as an approval item for a bus driver for summer school as well.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hudson moved, Mr. Finnegan seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Transition services agreement.
Yeah, what we have here is, with my resignation, an effective date, transitioning my current contract to interim transition services for the month of June. So this would be the agreement to compensate at a daily rate for days worked through June. So plan we've worked with on this transition as the board searches for the next superintendent is to be on an interim status in June, and then hopefully have the the next superintendent in place by the beginning or early of July. So if we get to that point, we'll reconvene on what we wanna do moving forward from that point.
So moved.
Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Hudson seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Sound system Warrior Arena, new business?
Yeah, this has been on our facilities list for a while, our programming. We wanted to just tackle the acoustics in the arena, which we did last year, and that has made I think, a vast improvement. Herding cattle, I've not heard of as a descriptor when we're running PE or any events in that arena, so it has made an improvement. But the system in there is original in some components. So the speakers, I think, in the ceiling currently have one of the 4 that are functional. So we want to be able to not have to use a portable system in there. So we're looking to use this to upgrade for not only our programming, but for events and even just daily. The gym gets used every day. So this will be a nice replacement for the sound system. Stylus is the company we've partnered with for a few of our other projects as well. So we did get quotes from CSI, and Stylus came in as the most reasonable option.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Deardorff, seconded by Mr. Finnegan, all those, motion passes 4-0.
Yeah, the next item B is the security camera updates and replacements. So this is to put really a bow on our upgrade to our security camera systems with the Visualon. So the Visualon runs the back end. They also manage our door access. So we've worked with vendors, various vendors, Tech Electronics, and we've found a good partner as well with Stylus. So they are licensed to install the Visualon cameras. And this last here, these quotes is cameras that we needed, that we had once we did the initial installs where we needed some improvements. These are some cameras that are outdated that need to be upgraded and replaced, and moving a couple cameras around. So, and some licensing fees that go along with maintaining the back end of that software. So I will say, especially these last 2 years, we've learned a lot with the system. Our administration is efficient in being able to monitor, and not only that, being able to search and go through cameras as needed as well.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Hudson seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes. Did you vote? I did not see.
I didn't vote.
Okay, so motion still passes 3-1. Okay, are all those, I should say all those opposed, or are you just abstaining? Should I clarify that?
I oppose,
Okay,
but
Mr.
like I
Deardorff
said,
opposed.
yeah, I understand that, but on the other side of it,
Not the first time, Mark.
I know, you know this, you know my story.
All right, tuck pointing repairs. This has been an ongoing maintenance item. I've been very, very pleased with Jason Floyd's work, and we have tackled some structural masonry work that was in disrepair, from windowsills to bricks. I always think it looks like it's a nightmare when he's mid-project, and it always looks like it never happened when he's done. So he's done good work. I think this is a very reasonable fee. He literally still gives us a handwritten quote. You don't get that too often for too many places, but Jason does good work for us. So.
So moved.
Second. Either one.
Okay, Mr. Deardorff moved, Mr. Finnegan seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Yeah, as we've reached May, project-wise, we had the elevator last month. The other 2 projects here of significance when it comes to cost are a couple of lighting projects. First is exterior lighting updates. So this would be tackling all of our exterior lighting. So from our entryways to the poles, and converting over to an LED, but also increasing coverage. So if you've been around back with the new lighting when we put in the fuel station, it's just a significantly brighter presence that will be reflected upon all of the parking lot and outside walkways with that quote. So that's item B. The exterior lighting.
So that finishes our exterior lighting.
It does, and we've changed some of these ourselves, some of the poles, but this will go through and make everything consistent and be on our controls. So.
So moved.
Sam moved, you want a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Hudson seconded, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
we'll jump on that soon. We did have a pole not survive the storm, 2 weekends ago? So we had one, it wasn't even the one that was even leaning a little, it was the one right beside it that we had fall over, so. Of all the storms, I was kinda surprised we had more damage from that storm than we had several others, so. The next item of lighting, it's been on our project list here as well. This would be to replace our football field lighting, so it's one of those things from a usage the current lighting we've had has been present for a long time, so. This would be taking those controls, contacts, moving that all to ground level from a safety perspective, upgrading the lighting to an LED from an energy usage. The controls, there were all kinds of options, dynamic controls. We've just gone with the basics. It'll still be the same 6 switches that are right inside the maintenance barn to turn those lights on and off, so.
Question.
Yeah.
How important are these lights, and can you still balance the budget?
Absolutely, I think this is coming out of the bond money that we presented, the way we approved, it was part of the reasoning for the bonds. You know, from a project perspective, the lighting, this has been, you know, I mentioned an energy audit in the past, converting our lighting to LED. When it comes to football lighting, you know, these are on for anything that we hold, track meets, football games. I mean, they're not being used as much as the rest of our lighting, but
Correct.
I think the biggest need here is from a safety perspective. We've had issues the last several years with amperage usage, lights going out, and anytime we even have to replace a bulb, you know, we have to scale those poles, and we've done that in-house. I don't know what it costs us to hire somebody, but this would be I guess the last area of campus that we haven't, from a lighting perspective, this would be the last of it, so.
This was high on folks' priority during the meeting.
Of course it is.
Can we table this till the whole board works on it, like discusses it, or no?
I mean, this is coming as we pushed this through the facility committee. I mean, they all met, they agreed that this was, this was an item I would have brought to the board 3 months ago. We've just been trying to get the other quotes in order, so, I'd like to be able to move on it, just to be able to get it done over the summer prior to, you know, the season starting this fall is when they'll be used heavily next, so.
So moved. Heard somebody already.
Nope.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Deardorff moved, Mr. Finnegan seconded, all those in favor? 2. All those opposed? 2. So since we have no true credit, like, what's our,
I think we need to table it and talk about it next meeting. I got some research to do on my own on it. I'd like to go out and look at it visually,
Yeah, I guess my concerns is nothing's gonna get cheaper. I've gotten quotes from Milk Lighting at $180,000, so I think Energy Harness has been a partner of ours for the last 4 or 5 years, so they've worked with us on this. That would be my biggest concern, is just pushing this down the road. It's just not, it's not gonna get any cheaper, so.
Pushing a month won't really hurt anything.
No, I don't think a month hurts at all. I'm more than okay with that, so, yeah, that's fine.
Do we need a motion to table it?
you,
I think you already did with your vote, 2-2.
Okay.
moving on, surplus items?
Yeah, it's that time of year, as we go through, we put through furniture, to be replaced in the interior classrooms at the middle high school. So this is just declaring surplus the stuff we need to, get rid of. Student chairs, we've got 93 of them, tables 37, and 76 desks that are in that inventory.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deardorff, seconded by Mr. Finnegan, all those approved? 4-0. Donations.
Nope, we got item G, sorry,
Oh.
it's not on the printed, it is here, so.
I was gonna say, wait,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brought to the attention of the board last month, we had a formal request by Phil O'Neill, who I think is here this evening to join us. He's recently purchased the property here on Meridian, and the request came our way to see if there was any option of tapping into our septic line that is privately owned by North Miami Schools that runs to Denver each evening. So we've had some communication back and forth. I've updated the board. We've done some research on our end over the last, it was a little over, it was just prior to the last board meeting when he brought this request our way. And so we've done that. We've worked with the town of Denver, you know, on how that would work with them. We've gone to the engineer, installer who put that line in and shared that feedback with Phil in regards to requirements and cost and what it would take to tap into that system. Some of the unknowns we're working with our attorney still are, liability concerns if anything were to happen to it, downstream from there. And we're still trying to get a few answers as well in regards to just being a municipality, and really having a utility fee that we charge a customer of ours on how that process would work. So those are kind of the ongoing items we're still trying to get a couple answers to, but, wanted to turn this over to consideration of the board. And, kind of the first request I've had of this kind in regards to, I think we put the line in 2013, I think it's been, so, we've got easements all the way from here to Meridian that jump back and forth based on how that process went down. And at the time, the town of Denver, there was conversation about them managing the line and over cost and requiring those entities to join it. It ended up being, long story short, a private project. We ran that line. Knock on wood, we've flowed there ever since. Each night as we dump our pit, and so yeah, it's kind of in the board's hands. Phil, you have anything you'd like to share at all, or?
Essentially what we have is the property just under, right about a third of an acre. The current septic just daylights into the field and back. It's completely destroyed. We have to replace it in order to occupy the residence. We found out the soil does work to put a septic, but then the well is too close to where the septic would have to go. And we can't really move the septic too far away without moving the well. Now we have to do new septic and new well compared to just tying into your septic sewer line that runs right across our front yard. So it'd be, even with the additional cost in engineering to make sure we're meeting all the requirements, it's still gonna be cheaper than putting a standalone septic and moving the wellhead in.
Thank you. You guys have any questions for him at all, or?
I don't have enough information.
Yeah, I'd make a motion we table this.
We need a motion to table it?
Second. Sam made a motion to
Second.
table it, okay. Mr. Finnegan made a motion to move to table this to the next meeting, Sam?
Yeah, I think we
Next
need to do
regular
some more,
scheduled meeting?
do
Um,
some more research.
Do you have a date on that, Kim? What's our next
Our
meeting?
next meeting in June is the third Tuesday here.
I just
Looks
put
like
the
it'll be
date
the
on.
20th. So, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong month, the 16th.
Okay, Mr. Finnegan moved to table this motion to this June 16th regularly scheduled meeting. Mr. Deardorff seconded. All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And Phil, I can share just from in further discussions, getting everybody's input and then getting those answers I just mentioned.
Okay.
I think before we commit to, what happens if that owner doesn't pay a bill? I mean, just what are those hassles we need to work out? So,
Yeah, due diligence is important. I
so
completely
that's
understand
kinda where
that,
we're at.
so.
So, thank you.
Are you intending to live at that residence? Sorry, Kenny, I guess I didn't have a question.
No, we're gonna make it something that the city could be proud of and then put it back on the market. We're gonna put probably about $180,000 to $200,000 into it to turn it around from the eyesore that it is now.
Thank you. Sorry, donations?
We have the following donations. Mike and Vicky Musselman, $1,000 for FFA expenses, and Tri-Kappa, $200 designated for art supplies.
So moved.
Mr. Deardorff moved, Mr. Hudson seconded. All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Fundraisers? None?
No, we do have a couple more policies though. This is, just a couple first readings here. Working with ISBA, I think we've, needed to tackle our enrollment. This was something that's been really on our plate since we discussed this over policies for homeschooling in the past. We needed to update our policies to what we've been practicing. So if you look at this first reading, where the changes come into play are in red. This is for you to review for next meeting. It would be second reading. But we really looked at that full-time, half-time status. We've added a component that addresses homeschooling to be able to participate in extracurriculars. Whether it's the IHSA guidelines will be consistent with in grades 9 through 12. And then we've removed language that just was obsolete in regards to driver's education that we don't offer anymore. So really, what that practice has been for at least the last 8 years, and I think prior, and I don't think we have maybe one student that's taking advantage of this right now, and it's actually a 6th grader, but taking a middle school class. But it would be that requirement to take at least one course, enroll, and then allowing them also to attend Heartland person or half-time here at North Miami. We've had these conversations in the past, it's just making policy reflect that, so. The other one is the state put through an updated wireless device law. So this isn't a handbook revision, so we need to update our policy to reflect the law. This is really coming straight from the ISBA. The only part they recommended was how we administered it. So in that second statement, in that during the school day, the wireless device must be stored away as instructed by administration, powered off and inaccessible to students. So it's worded that way intentionally. It gives us some flexibility, gives us some time to still set those things in place of what we want to do. But it will be a step in a more strict environment for cellular devices. And so the exceptions, A, B, C, D, and E, and F are straight from the law. Those are the exceptions the state provided. So as opposed to those, this year they were allowed to be used during lunch, during passing period. The expectation next year, anyways, they weren't allowed this year, but this next year they're not even allowed to be off, not accessible. And so it's, from a school perspective, I think we took the last state law and implemented it. I think we've done a pretty decent job. It's not perfect, but I think this will be less growing pains for us than a lot of districts is probably the best way to put that. So, but it will need to be compliant for next year. So that's the first reading in regards to the cell phone wireless device update.
What do you do with 400 cell phones?
Well, that's why we gotta come up with a plan, whether it's pouches or technology or lockers. I mean, there's a few. We're trying to get to the bottom of what's best practice. State will still give us some more details from a memo perspective of, I mean, it's gonna be a challenge for us with 300 and some kids in the building. I can't imagine a large school that's got tens of thousands. It would be very challenging. So
I think it's good. It's just
it's just another. I think what we had in place was probably, it was definitely a step in the right direction and sufficient. I think this is just taking it even further.
It's sad that it took the state to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think it was a shift in, how they were used, what they were used for, and we live in a day and age, I think, from a contact and communication standpoint, it's just different than it used to be. So this also includes, other devices, watches, AirPods, all those things as well. So it's all encompassing there.
I don't have to worry about anything there, just when you're on
Yep.
field trips.
One summer trip request. I think this has been an annual event for the football team, overnight team camp in Manchester, June 15th through the 18th.
Move.
Second.
Mr. Deardorff moved, Mr. Finnegan seconded. All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Future meeting date, June 16th.
All I had to do was look down the list earlier. don't know
Sorry,
why
I
didn't.
didn't turn the page. So,
Yeah, and I'll share first here if that's okay. Couple of updates speaking, I guess, for the board in this transition process. I think they've got an executive session scheduled for June 1 to review applications at that point. And then the rest of June, we'll be scheduling interviews and, hopefully making an offer, and with the intent, with the goal, taking feedback from the survey that I think we pushed out another reminder today, and taking that feedback into consideration in that hiring process. So, with my resignation being on the table this evening, I just wanna express my sincere gratitude. I sent a letter out to our staff here. I feel like it was a long time ago. I think it was the 27th of April. So just the timing of this has been drug out a little bit for my formal resignation to go through, but I have thoroughly enjoyed and been very thankful for the opportunity to be the superintendent here the last 8 years. So it was, as an alum, it was a job that I didn't take lightly. I never signed up to deal with COVID. I will admit that. That was a good kickoff to the job. But I've had a lot of people come my way, and I had our last directors meeting last week, and it hit me in that meeting. We've got experienced, good people in place through this transition, and I've told a lot of people I hope I've handed this position off, this district off, better than I found it. That was my goal, and public school, I'm not gonna lie, statewide is, has challenges that they've never dealt with, and I think locally, we're a proud community, we're proud of this school, and, just thankful that the board had belief in me to lead it the last 8 years. I'll always be a warrior moving forward, and I will help out in any way I can through this continued transition process, so I wanna say thanks. So, thank you.
I go next, I don't know, Karen go last, I don't know, yeah.
Have at it.
Okay, I really like seeing the high school kids mentoring, doing things with the elementary school kids. I don't think high school kids realize how important that is, that those little kids look up to them. So I think that's great, all the things you're trying to do, especially in like child development class over there. I mean, the FFA's been doing things before, or the egg program, but yeah. So the more the better, in my opinion. And I appreciate Carrie's comments, kind of like telling us things that, you already have a whole list of things to tell us, but Carrie had some more interesting things in. So keep up the good work. I know schools, it's getting closer to being out, so keep up the good work. Stan, you're on the spot.
An FFA, our FFA department, we've been winning since this school started. And people kind of take it, like, oh, well, it must not be too tough or this or that, but New Paris paper, I don't know how many of you guys get that paper, but they had and I think my wife said it's on Facebook, they had a picture of these kids. And I always go through there, and they have North Miami, because they have, North Miami, and there's a lot, so is other schools, it represents the north, it's a lot of Amish, but it represents the north part of the state.
The Farmers Exchange,
Pardon?
it's called the Farmers Exchange?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But as I read those names, I got to thinking, 3 years ago, those kids, they thought dirt was a 4-letter word. So now it's soil. And where would we be without soil? And poultry. Those kids think of those little cute things in those horse tanks, water tanks, and in those farm stores. But now it's different, and judging is not easy. I don't want to reflect on me too much, I guess, but 60 years 2 weeks ago, I was on a team that went down, and we placed second. We had high individual and fourth high individual, and you don't know if you're going to win or not until the banquet, and they announce your name, and that feeling you have when you go up on that stage to get your award in front of kids from all over the United States, that's really memorable. And it's something you don't forget, but it is work. I mean, those kids start practicing before school, after school, weekends, and you have teachers who are willing to do that. And yes, we have good, of course, they're all graduates from here. So, I mean, it's a tradition that we have, but it's not easy. I mean, people, I don't want people to think, oh, well, they won again, but it's really a accomplishment. So, looks like things are shaping up good at the end of the year, and I like we've shared some of the ideas for the new year, and looks like we're on the right track. I spoke too long.
I forgot to thank Kenny for his service. I felt bad after. I forgot. Yeah.
I'll be around over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, it's almost over this year. I will say, overall, academic, athletics, I think this has been the best year that we've had since I've been on the board, kind of knowing the inner workings of things, so appreciate you all for that, and yeah, publicly, Kenny, thanks, and best wishes.
And my whole thing, and usually I have 2 or 3 things to hit on, but my whole thing tonight was that the FFA thing, and Dan is exactly right. Everybody takes it for granted, but why wouldn't you? You won 60 years ago, or was at the national contest 60 years ago. You must have graduated in 66 because 50 years ago, I was there. And
I was trying to remember,
and you-
I won the state poultry contest, and I'm trying to remember what year that was.
I was 16, so I've been 66.
And I realize that kids probably go more places than what we went 50 or 60 years ago, but, the trips that I took through FFA was either Washington DC, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Madison, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. Those are trips that you may, fortunately, I've been in a lot of places since, but there's a lot of people that go through there that's the only time they ever get that opportunity. And, it really is a great thing. And the other thing is, Kenny, I was here when you came, I guess I'm gonna be here when you left, and I've told you before, I don't wanna be
I
here.
didn't live up to my end of the bargain, Mark. I know.
Yeah, I told you before, I don't wanna be here when my time is about run out anyhow, but thanks for all you've done, and I think I can say this, I shouldn't, but you'll be the first one, and I've seen 4 come through here that I'm gonna miss. For the record.
And I will, I brought it up it's been a couple months ago, but we've been working with all the regulations, the state highways and county, but, we wanna recognize what we accomplished in this community, proud of it, and, we had the state championship the last 2 years in wrestling. We've got, our 93 football state championship, our 2014 softball, and so we're working on those signs, and I think Amy had mentioned, our other side of that is all of our FFA accomplishments, and so we are still in the process of, putting those recognitions up formally in the gym, but also we have some sign decor, and so we went to the ag, and asked them, and, the biggest challenge is just fitting out, what do you share and not share, and so we've got like 5 signs that are just jam full of, what accomplishments we've won, it's not even listing them out, it's just how many state championships, how many national championships, how many award winners, and I think we're gonna be able to do it. Our goal is to be able to update that number, because we know those signs are gonna constantly change, so be like one of those, flip charts maybe that we can update those numbers each year, but, that's something as people come into our district that we wanna brag about, and so those are both in the works, and, literally trying to figure out how strong the poles need to be to hold the wind. That's what we're looking at right now, so.
Well, also the FFA, when you hear FFA, you think, obviously when I was there, it was Future Farmers of America, but FFA doesn't stand for Future Farmers of America. And Austin has been out of school since 2005, and when he went in as a green hand as a freshman or so, there was only 2 kids in his class that were actually off a farm, out of, I think it was 17 that year or something like that, but there's a lot of those kids that are probably out in Oklahoma, they're not farmers, but they understand and they know how to stand in front of people, and there's just a lot of great things there.
I think that's it.
Giving oral reasons sure makes you,
Yeah, it does.
makes you a little tougher when you
Especially
gotta
if you get 'em
defend your
backwards.
case.
Especially if you get them backwards.
Yeah. One last motion,
So moved.
Second, I guess you probably don't need a second.
I don't know, Mr. Finnegan moved, Mr. Dewar seconded.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
She was off.
4-0.